Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined by Pete Sousa, host of Inside the Big 12 and the Pete Sousa Show. Pete, good morning.
David, Patrick, what's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Well, we're just dragging through the fall camp that happens in summer when it's 100 degrees here in Utah, and we can't wait to get to the games and be surprised by something, by anything. That's the beauty of sports. It's unscripted drama. You got any surprises you're leaning towards for all the talk we're getting about college football? You think people are overlooking somebody or some team?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I was taking a look at Big 12 quarterbacks this morning because I've never been in my life so close to the conference and the quarterback play, just like following it, talking to coaches, talking to players. And it is interesting when you see the way that we rank the Big 12 quarterbacks now, or like the experts rank them. Like I was looking at an article from On3 this morning, and that's a site and an outlet that I really trust. Those guys know ball. And, you know, if you look at their rankings, they have like DJ Lagway, Avery Johnson. They even have Bear Bachmeier ranked at 4 with Connor Wegman. Those guys are all like in the middle of the pack. And then at the top is Drew Mestamaker, Devin Dampier, guys who were not Noah Fafita, right? Guys who have been the sleepers are now the stars, and like the star quarterbacks are now the sleepers. So in a perfect world for the Big 12, right, you would see a guy like DJ Lagway, Avery Johnson, or even Juju Lewis at Colorado, like reach their potential, or at least somewhat. And then you've got like so many exciting quarterbacks. Personally, you guys out there in Salt Lake are actually talking to the right guy this morning. I have week 1, I have Thursday night at Utah. I'm calling that game for ESPN, so Idaho at Utah. And then we're going down the road to Provo for Saturday night for Utah Tech BYU. So I have both those games, and I've been digging into both those teams, and I'm so pumped to see Utah and Devin Dampier, like a healthy 100% Devin Dampier, and then also one more year of development from Bear Bachmeier after an explosive freshman campaign.
I keep reading and seeing that there was possibilities of Tech bringing in another quarterback. Is that sending an appropriate message that we don't really believe in you, Will, even though you're our guy?
Well, look, as far as that quarterback situation is concerned, I think that's just they're trying to – it's a CYA deal, right? Cover your you-know-what. I don't think they want to get caught with their pants down because last year, really one of the things that buoyed Texas Tech and their playoff hopes was when Baron Morton went down, Will Hammond was there, and he was able to hold the line and at times maybe even take Texas Tech above the line. So I think it's more for depth. I don't know that it is like, hey, Will Hammond, you're not playing well enough. Here's one thing I will say. They are very, how should I say, they're holding the steering wheel pretty tight at Tech about offensive production this year. They do not want to end up in another situation where they're in the college football playoff and their offense gets embarrassed. So I think there is a little bit of, hey, what can we do? What can we do? And in a universe of college football where, you know, we've got a guy who just spent training camp with the Browns who is more than likely going to be playing with LSU this year. Like the possibilities are endless. And we've seen, you know, Texas Tech, God bless them, they can play like the morality role, right? Like after everything kind of went by the wayside with Brendan Sorsby, the truth of the matter is they would probably do whatever they could to make their team better. In this climate, it's legal to do that too.
Do you think at quarterback you can bring somebody in and they don't know the offense, they don't know the guys? Does it work? I mean, if you brought in a running back or a cornerback, I totally believe it. But the later we get, doesn't it just seem impossible?
Yeah, and honestly, that's what makes Bear Bachmeier so unbelievable. You know, and, you know, that what we witnessed last year at BYU is like one of the more unique things you will ever come across. And that's because he is such a unique guy from such a unique family, really. I was watching something about his brother, Tiger, yesterday. And Tiger's like already graduated Stanford. Now he's at BYU. He's got his pilot license. He speaks like 7 different languages. Like, those guys are so smart. But the reason I bring, Bear up is because it is hard. And you can't really just do it. And so I think that's sort of a fool's errand, but I will say the idea for Tech, right, to bring in another quarterback, because this is what they were saying all along about Will Hammond and even Brendan Sorsby was like, look, if we can get somebody under center by November that is lathered up and we're ready to go, that's what we need to really punch through in the college football playoff. So I think that these coaches are aware of what you're saying, and it's like if we do bring on somebody later in the season, or somebody to start the season, it probably won't be later in the season till we expect to see them at their absolute best and totally in sync with the rest of the offense.
What did you make of Kalani Sitake being so vocal about their charge of doing more with less, and that they haven't given the program the promises that they made? It's kind of strange timing.
It's super weird. And, Kalani Sitake is such an amazing guy. And we have this body of work with him that shows us nothing but he's an amazing guy and that he's an amazing coach. So when he starts to get vocal like this, it definitely makes, people like me who are a little further away from the situation from, say, everybody day to day out there in Utah, it's a head scratcher for us. And then I talk to, guys like you and people around the program there who are really close to it. And they say that, there's some stuff going on between Kalani and Brian Santiago, and that situation has gotten pretty tense. And, Mark Hill comes on board, and is he the guy that's going to, take it over for Santiago? There's so much going on, right? Or would he potentially take over for Santiago if BYU were to move on? There's so much happening out there. And it is concerning because 2 weeks ago I said this is all smoke. Kalani's just trying to make sure he gets what he was promised, right? Like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And now I'm starting to think, I hope this doesn't bleed over and impact, what the Cougars are doing. Because if you think about the success, and they've had great success over the past 2 years that BYU has had, a lot of it comes because they are so in sync. Because, look, man, when you are a team that plays together and plays for a cause greater than, and everyone is on the same page and there's no drama in the locker room or around the program, the ball bounces your way. That's just how it works in football and in life, right? If you're doing the next right thing. So if that gets a little clumsy inside the program, it is kind of concerning now. It's just something I'm keeping an eye on, because you don't want to see that. We're 2 weeks now from September 5th, BYU's opener against Utah Tech. I don't think you'd see it, against Utah Tech, but next week you play Arizona, and it's like, okay. So I would think that over the next few weeks, everything will kind of be cleared up. Or I would hope, because BYU has a heck of a football team.
Morgan Scalley taking over at Utah. There's a temptation to think everything's going to go along just as it was. There's the thought that, hey, there's always some kind of learning curve. Until you've been a head coach, you can't really have that experience. I'm looking at the roster wondering if there's as many difference makers as they're used to having. They'll be solid, but big-time players making big plays in big games. I wonder if they're a little short on that. What do you think?
Well, I think they have explosive guys. Like, you bring back Devin Dampier, you still have Bird Ficklin, even a guy like Nate Johnson, who's like literally listed as athlete now. They can play him anywhere. And then, Wayshawn Parker is trying to get 1,000 yards this year. Daniel Bray behind him. I think they have the playmakers, right? Like, looking at this team getting ready for this first game, like, I think there's a ton of excitement. Here's where I actually worry a little bit about Utah is that Kevin McKibben, their new offensive coordinator, they're talking about, hey, we're going to add more wrinkles. Last year, I love our guy, Steve Bartle, right? Bartle had the best stat. I think I was listening to you guys where he said it's like 60, it was like 60-40 last year, running, passing for Utah. And now it'll probably be 50-50. I don't know that I love that. I mean, I know it's a different approach, and Utah won 11 games last year. Like Kyle Whittingham's recipe worked. I understand that you got changes along the offensive line, but as Morgan Scalley says, that happens every year. you lose studs, you have to replace them. That's opportunities for other guys, and Utah certainly has the horses up front that can, maybe you're not going to have 2 first-round picks, but you're still going to be strong up front. I'll be really interested to see when we get into the thick of the Big 12 slate for Utah, are they able to just run teams and knock them off the ball and win the way that Kyle Whittingham liked to win, or is, taking a more sexy approach to the offensive attack? Could that hurt this team? Right? I'm interested to see that because clearly, I think Morgan Scalley is going to do very well. And I think the fact that he has been coaching waiting for a while, he's more than prepared. And I just love his energy and his roots to Utah. And it seems like everybody around there is totally enamored with him being the head coach now. But the change in philosophy on offense worries me a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
I mean, he's a legend. You know what I mean? Kyle's a complete legend. I was looking for, it's been 2 decades since somebody else has been a head coach at Utah. I understand Morgan Scalley's ready for the challenge, but Kyle was very special.
Can there be sleeper teams this year? And if so, who?
Yes, I definitely think there can be. I always look back to 2 years ago, and you guys, this hits close to home for you, or 2-3 years ago. We began the season with Cam Rising in Utah and Mike Gundy in Oklahoma State, right? They were everybody was talking about those 2 teams. They're number 1 and number 2 in the Big 12. And it was opposite day for the entire year. Those 2 teams were near the bottom. A lot of it had to do with injuries. But I think you got to keep an eye on Oklahoma State. I'm starting to believe that hype a little bit because Eric Morris has shown he can win at every level. And every year we have a guy a young coach, right, who splashes onto the scene with a hot quarterback. And, they did that sort of last year. Mestamaker did with Eric Morris at North Texas. But now if you do it in the Big 12, the whole country's going to be watching. Yeah. And I think Houston also. I think Willie Fritz is beyond special as a head coach. And what they did last year, again, that was a 10-3 season that kind of ho-hum, a little bit like Utah's. So I don't think you can count Houston out because Connor Wegman, there's a reason he was the best quarterback in the country going into Texas A&M, and he's starting to remind us of that. So those are 2 sleepers who I'm keeping an eye on.
Do we always have to watch these Texas teams, and maybe it changes, but I just wonder with TCU and Baylor, and they're not all going to be up at the same time, but there's just so much talent there. So if they have a decent amount of money, could any one of them catch lightning in a bottle?
I love Baylor. I spent a lot of time in Central Texas, and I'm close to a lot of people around the program. But and certainly I think it could be a situation for Baylor where you talk about the athleticism. I think DJ Lagway could be a lot of fun to watch, and I think their ceiling is 7-8 wins. So I don't know that you have to really worry about Baylor. I think TCU could be interesting because it just seems like every couple of years, they have been steadily very good. And Sonny Dykes seems to be in love with Jaden Craig, their new quarterback from Harvard. And Sonny Dykes just says, look, he just wins. So, again, you talk about the ball bouncing your way. If the ball bounced their way a couple times last year, that's a team that, would have had a run at the college football playoff. So I think TCU this year, more so than Baylor, is someone to keep an eye on.
The goal here is to get multiple teams into the playoff. We all understand that, and that hasn't happened yet. How much do you think that will be determined upon the success of the big non-conference games that a few of these teams have?
I think it will determine a lot. I think that the one that, we all have circled is BYU and Notre Dame. And that is going to be, right now, that's the game I'm most excited for in the college football season, period. Because if BYU, this is it. You have a home game against the perennial power, and Notre Dame's going to be really good this year. A lot of times in the past, even last year, BYU on the road at Texas Tech, right, in that game on Saturday afternoon, and then Big 12 championship in Texas. You finally have this game being played at home in Provo. And I heard my ESPN brother and BYU legend, Trevor Maddich, made a great point. He said, this could be, and I remember as a kid watching that game when Ty Detmer and the Cougars beat Miami on national television to open the season. And it was just whoa. You know, it's like they grabbed everybody by the lapels early that year and said, "We are here. We're the real deal." And of course, Ty Detmer goes on to win the Heisman Trophy. And that game was played in Provo. Like, that's an opportunity, the game at Notre Dame for BYU, to give the Big 12 two teams in the college football playoff. And really, you don't necessarily have to win that game if you can hold serve throughout the rest of your schedule. You need to keep it close, and obviously you would want to win it. But even if you lose it, if it's like a 3-point game, you still remain in the conversation. If again you hold serve when you're supposed to everywhere else, which is a huge if, as we know, once the ball gets kicked off.
Other top 10 opponents out there: Oklahoma State's going to host Oregon. Arizona State has to go to Texas A&M. There's probably another tier of games: Iowa State, Missouri, Kansas. How many of those can they win, and how much can they move the needle here? Because it feels like the dream could be dead real quick.
Well, look, I think that the good news is the game, nobody's expecting Oklahoma State to beat Oregon, even though that game's going to be at Oklahoma State, and I think that's going to be an amazing environment because Oklahoma State should win Week 1 against Tulsa, and then that is an amazing fan base. They got a ton of resources there. That place, they're bloodthirsty, that program. So that environment in itself should be awesome. The scary ones, if I'm literally handicapping it with you and I'm being maybe a little negative, saying the dream could be dead already, and my heart's breaking over here, I would say that Utah-Arkansas is one that's kind of scary, right? Because Arkansas is they're Arkansas. They stunk last year, but, I mean, they've got SEC athletes, and they come on the road. They're upset that that's a night game. There's all kinds of, there's a chip on your shoulder, nobody believes in us attitude that you really don't want an SEC opponent coming into your stadium with. So they've got to win games like that, right? They cannot lose games like that. And you mentioned, Kansas needs to beat Missouri, right? They almost beat them last year. They need to beat Missouri. I don't expect Arizona State to win Texas A&M, but you've just got to win the games you're supposed to win, and then you get a big one like BYU over Notre Dame, and then we're talking. But I am with you in a sense where, you sort of have to prove to me that you can do it before I'm oh, they're going to do it. So I would like to see the Big 12 show me that they can get two teams in this college football playoff, right?
Well, we'd all like to see them show that, and then we'd like one of them to be one of our teams. And both would be great, but that seems pretty greedy, and Texas Tech seems to be lined up pretty well. So we'll see how it plays out. Pete, as always, we love having you come on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Guys, you do an amazing job. Getting ready for these two games, I've been listening to a lot of you guys, and it's a total delight. So I look forward to the next time, and I appreciate you having me on.
Pete Sousa, Inside the Big 12 and the Pete Sousa Show. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Would you go halfway around the world chasing wins, PK? The answer to that is clearly yes. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Duration, Superdeck, and Woodscapes products August 14th through the 24th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Dominance in Utah. My favorite. This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty the Coach Tuesday from 10 to 2 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East. DJ and PK, question up on our Facebook page. There's a photo. Lowry Markkanen. Got Keontae George on his left. Ryan Smith on his right. Next to Ryan, the coach Will Hardy. Next to him, Jaren Jackson. Next to him, somebody's cut off. You can only see his arm.
I didn't know who he was, so I cut him off.
Okay. Traveled all the way to Finland to work out with Lowry Markkanen. Are they building something special?
I think so, man. When you think about it, these guys are all tall. Even Keontae, by average American male, is
walking
tall.
Down the street.
And you got Jaren Jackson's way tall. And to think that those guys, and Will Hardy's tall for that matter, that they squeezed themselves into a coach seat and flew over to Finland. That's pretty impressive.
On the list of things they probably didn't do, squeezing into a coach seat.
You don't think so?
Seems unlikely.
Oh, so they've got the exit aisle?
Yeah, that's what it is. What a big, strong people in the event of emergency. They can rip that door off its hinges and guide everyone to safety.
Right. You don't want an old fogey like me there.
No.
We'd all die.
Exactly. I can't get it open. Well, pull the
Go
handle.
the other way.
Jonathan, this is the current NBA trend. The Lakers are in Slovenia. The T-Wolves and Spurs are in Paris. I like it, but I don't think it's some great sign.
Oh, what a downer.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Got to go to Europe and bond. Now, they did this before. They went to Dallas and bonded. They went to Keontae, hosted everybody last summer. We heard a lot about that. Now it's
Devin Dampier paid for all the offensive guys to go to Phoenix in the offseason. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about, man. Go to Lowry over there. I think it's a promising sign. I won't dismiss it, nor will I act like, oh, man.
They got it now.
Yeah. But I think it's a promising sign that your nucleus, particularly for Jaren Jackson, buying in immediately. I mean, when the schedule came out, I think he tweeted out something like buy ticks, get ticks or something like that. And he's only been here. The other guys have been here for a while. They're ready to win. George and Lowry have been here combined, 7 years? They're ready to win. They want to win.
They don't have a chip on their shoulder by now.
Yeah. And so get an opportunity with Jaren Jackson out there, they're all new to each other in a sense. There's so much newness and such it's a turn the page, new beginning, fresh approach type deal. Everything that happened before doesn't matter. It's what you do from this point on. And there is a level of excitement, certainly on the heels of 4 consecutive losing seasons that we haven't had. I'm excited. I mean, I don't want to wish away between now and the start of the basketball season because I want to enjoy the start of the football season for the colleges and the NFL. And I know you eyeball deep in the high school thing, and that's been going on here for a couple of weeks. And so enjoy those. And when it gets here, I'll be ready for it. But at this point, I do feel there's a level of excitement there that is welcomed. There's no doubt about it. It's something that we all want. We all want this team to win and play competitive ball.
It's way more fun when they do that than when they head to the lottery again, and we've seen enough of both of them. We don't really have to debate that.
Right.
We've felt the pain.
And then plus two, the level of intrigue is really something that doesn't happen to this franchise very often. And you go back to the statues, I mean, you knew what you were going to get for so many years. And that was good. And that was the consistency and the model of it was awesome. And now, what are we going to have here? What exactly do we have? What do we have in the youngsters and Peterson and Bailey, right? We're not really sure. Expectation, hopeful, all that stuff, sure. But we're still not sure. George, how real was it? What can you do on a winning team? We know you can put up points on a losing team. Mm-hmm. You've proven that. That's a fact. But how are you going to blend in and with all the other stuff? And Jackson, you're a very good player. I actually think Markkanen, to me, is the most intriguing. And if he plays like I believe he's capable of playing, I think he can be a top 15 player in this league. Certainly a top 20. Because the guy has enormous skill set. And I'm a little biased toward him because I'd heard about him as an international player. Mm-hmm. And with Hano being there, and I covered him for the Utes way back when, and him being like the ambassador of Finnish basketball, basically. You know, there was a lot of talk that Markkanen was coming to Utah.
There was a ton of talk, and then at the last second, it all got quiet.
And
he went to Arizona.
We know what happened there. And but still, he still stayed in a conference that I was following religiously, obviously. And so I got to see him play a lot. And I think he's wildly skilled. And he has an opportunity now to be unleashed and really just set the tone for what the next 5 years is going to be for you in the NBA. Because I believe in his skill set, and I believe he can be the most talented player for the next 3 to 4 years on this team.
There's tons of unknowns about the team. I think there'll be major personnel moves going forward. I don't think this group a core of this group can stay, but the whole group is going to change. I think we just saw it with Kessler. You know, I would have thought the odds are, okay, he's going to be in this group for a while, and then the Jackson trade happens and the money's drying up. It's going to be a tight squeeze, and all of a sudden he's gone. I think there'll be more of that. Can they find the core? I think the question with Lowry, there's just very little question about his ability to shoot the ball. And it's the most important thing. That's what they give you the points for. But nonetheless, you got to be able to rebound. You got to be able to play defense. How big an impact is he going to have in other areas of the game? And maybe he's the guy, and he's taking so many shots, and he's hitting so many shots, everybody else can do the dirty work. Don't tend to like that thought. How many teams really succeed with that? We'd probably find some examples. But on the whole, you need guys to be able to do a couple of things. And sure, to be in the league, you've got to have one skill that's really, and he's got it, and it's shooting. But if we're talking about getting to the playoffs, advancing when you're in the playoffs, getting back to a conference final for the first time, they're not quite to 20 years, but they're coming up on it. What else is he going to do? And I think that's the question. Because your point, is he ridiculously skilled? Yes. Is he a big guy who can shoot it? Absolutely. And it is really hard to keep him from getting the shot off because he's so big and he shoots over so many people. But if they're really going to do what we want them to do, they got to be able to rebound. They got to be able to defend a little bit. How much will he contribute there?
Well, everybody's got to be able to do that.
Everybody does. Absolutely.
I mean, it's not on him individually. That's for everybody, every year, every team. You want to be great, and here's what you need to do. Formulas are there. And so what can you do there? I think this has a chance to be the core, though, for the next 3 to 4 years, if it's good enough.
Which three do you view as the core?
I view the 5 as the core. Peterson, Bailey, George, Jackson, and Markkanen.
I feel like at least one and maybe two of those guys will have to be moved. If either they won't be the core because they're not good enough, or if they're good enough, then they can't pay everybody. And so either way, the thing has to evolve.
Well, yeah, that's what I said, 3 to 4 years, though. I mean, Bailey and Peterson can't go anywhere.
That will help.
George is the next guy.
Yeah, that'll help them. They're locked into rookie deals.
Yeah. And so the cap will go up. Yeah, I think the core's here. I don't know that they can get better than these guys, and you can fill in the blanks with these other guys, whoever they might be, bench guys who play a vital role, but I think they're out there to be had going forward. So, yeah, I'm super excited about what they've got and what is the possibility for them to do what they can do. Absolutely, yeah. And away we go. And I like to see it over there. There's nothing wrong with building camaraderie. You know, it's not going to be the be-all, but why not have it? And these guys wanting to go over there, I don't know. I would assume that they hadn't been to Finland. Sounds like a pretty good place to go in the summer. Don't know I want to go in the winter.
But maybe not so much.
But it's the summer right now, and see something new, especially, and you don't have to pay for it. You get a free trip. Yeah, I'd be all over it. Absolutely. And I don't know their family situation. I don't know that Keontae has little kids running around, and so he could go and be away and all that stuff. And that's awesome. And, yeah, and he's an American, so I get that the foreign guys want to go back and spend a fair amount of time. And I know he has, Markkanen has the national team stuff, but they want to be where they're from because they don't get to be there very often. at a certain time of year. Well, it's the other way around for the Americans. You're here all the time, so you get that and get to play with each other, and that must mean that whatever situation was, I forgot what Jackson what the situation was why he didn't play. I mean, I know they didn't want him to play, but he had some medical thing. I don't remember what it was, but that would mean that he's healthy and he's moving around, and the guy's a veteran in the league too. He's still young, but he's a veteran in the league, and I think he knows. Well, okay, he didn't rebound well. Well, how much of that was because they had other guys? They had a Steven Adams or somebody else who might have been on that team, and I have to go double check that he was actually on the team. But they have guys like that who that's their job. So, well, now here, depending on what they do with the 5 guys and the lack of a true starting center, that he may have to play that. So the point being that he can increase his rebounding because it'll be asked of him to do more. And then you got guys like Ace Bailey, who's 6'9", and he can do more. Darren Peterson is a fairly big kid too.
It does fall to more players in this era because they're taking threes and the ball, they're going to be long rebounds going in crazy directions. So it's not necessarily about having somebody getting 12 boards a game. If you have a lot of people getting 5 or 6 boards a game, everybody chasing down those missed threes, it can fall on everybody.
Right. And the thing about it is it's going to develop from within. These guys will decide how good they are. Those 5 guys and a couple guys coming off the bench and what they would do with Nurkic and all that. So what are these guys going to do? It's like, okay, fellas.
You got to carry most of the load.
Do you want to have a winning team here? Because we want you to have a winning team, speaking from ownership and management, and we are going to provide you with what you need to have a winning team.
Bruce, maybe a winning team for once. Yeah, they better have a winning record. Now to what level? And Earl says they'll compete hard in the first round of the playoffs. They might even win it. They will not win in the second round. Is that special? It's a big improvement from last year, but no, it's not special.
Well, special doesn't happen overnight.
Maybe in their second year they'll win in the second round. I sure hope so.
Okay.
Earl finishes his thought.
I'll take that.
Yes. That's Warriors territory. Go to the second round, get beat, and then turn around and win a championship.
Oh, I think that's a lot of territory.
Accelerate right through it.
So you have all that nucleus that we just mentioned, those 5 guys, maybe Markkanen, I have to double check, none of them would be 30.
I think Markkanen would, but you're right about the rest of them.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of runway here. There's a lot of career left. It's not like they're up against it with 34-year-olds and you're thinking, oh, they're going to fall off big time next year.
Right.
And Markkanen's, I mean, they've expanded his game and all that. But, man, when your number one thing is catch and shoot, that you're not going to lose that. You're going to be able to do that when you're 50, 60 years old.
As long as you have your health.
Yep.
And you have your legs and all that. And there's no reason why that is going to go away, barring some catastrophic knock-on-wood type of injury that doesn't happen, that he should be able to do those things for 5 years. For the next 5 years, he should be able to do. There's plenty of guys in their early 30s who rock it in this league if they take care of themselves and do what they're supposed to do, and there's no indication that wouldn't happen. So with that in mind, that this thing, I want to see where this goes. And who knows where it can go. I'm not going to say it can't go or it can go. I want to see where it can go. And that's going to be the fascinating part of it, is that we all get to see it. It'd be like for those folks that are around in the 80s when they had the draft picks of the Statues and Thurl. Where can it go? Went to pretty high levels for many, many years. And can this be a reincarnation? Doesn't seem like players stay around like that to the length that they used to. I understand that. But let's just go to 3 to 4 years. See where it's at. Where can it top off at? And having these guys get together in a foreign country and these guys want to be loved too, you know, every little thing that they're used to being, you could say babied or pampered or what have you, so be it. But that's the nature of the business now. You got to show them love. And to have these 2 other guys who are clearly a core or part of the core, and maybe for now, those 3 guys are the core because the other 2 guys are so young that we're going to rely on them while the other two guys develop.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get to the turn of the decade, maybe those guys then would be able to take over, which even bodes even better because you don't want something, a flash in the pan, 2 to 3 years, boom, it's gone. You want something that is going to keep improving, so by the time you get to 2030, you're still looking at an extended run. And if they can pull off a 7-8 year run of success during the regular season and in the postseason, to what level remains to be seen, but have success in the postseason, then you can look back and say, okay, those 4 years were worth it.
It's a scenario where it's even better than that. I mean, you went 7 or 8 years, but if that baton gets passed, then they fulfilled what Jay-Z was talking about when he said we want to open a championship contending window and keep it open.
Yeah, but there'd be too many new faces to go beyond that.
If they have the two key pieces, anchor pieces,
you still need other pieces, and I wouldn't have any idea where they'll
have to cycle through that.
Right.
But the hardest thing is to get the stars, and if they have these guys for 10, 12, 15 years, that'd be great. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, I can't attach stardom on either of these players just yet.
Not until they can rent a car.
I want to see, well, maybe that.
Or you put stardom on them at 22 or 23, maybe.
They can buy the dealership.
You can rent a car because I own the dealership.
Yeah.
I don't need to rent a car. Just give me that car with the dealer plates.
Right. They can own the friggin' thing the way they're going. Yeah, so that's a possibility, too. So that's stuff that I want to see. But I thought it was cool that they did it and that they wanted to do it. Maybe don't need to see the owner working out with them, but that's part of the fun that he gets to do. I don't really care about that one way or the other. If he sat on a chair on the sideline or if he ran lines with them, if he wants to do that, so be it. But that doesn't float my boat either way because he's not going to be playing, so I don't really care about that.
You know, the only thing about the owner, and I hadn't really thought of this until someone commented on here, and it's relatively new, so I guess everyone can have their theory right now. Greg here says, in this environment where private equity firms are buying into teams, you're going to see more and more the focus being on extracting maximum revenue. Building a championship will not be a goal. Having a super fan of the team who has the money to support it could be a big deal going forward, and I think the Lakers are about to learn that.
About to learn what?
That having private equity-minded people who are looking at building value and making money, extracting maximum revenue. Basically saying they're going to be, with this private equity, that they're not going to be super fans chasing championships like...
No, I disagree.
You think they're going to go for it?
Yeah, because that's what gives you stuff that can't be bought. I can go turn a building and make a profit. But that's a business transaction. That does not get your endorphins going.
Maybe Bob Iger's tired of that after 50 years of running movies and parks with Disney. He needs something different.
Yeah. And I've seen literally grown men cry over this. I was in the locker room when Reinsdorf won his first title with the Chicago Bulls.
Now, there's a guy who's been extracting value.
Yeah.
And the White Sox did eventually win a World Series.
And Jerry Krause sobbing like a baby. I saw that with my own eyes.
Did Reinsdorf? Because it'd be coming down to the owner.
Yeah. And the joy that was on their faces, that you can't get that over some transaction.
We opened a new park. Not gonna,
Right.
We opened our fourth park.
I don't see that, man, and I could be wrong.
Well, we'll know pretty quick. I mean, Ballmer's, you don't have to be private equity to extract value, right?
Right.
Ballmer built up a $20 billion net worth and then spent a couple billion on the Clippers, and people thought he overpaid. But then you look how much joy he gets game in and game out, sitting on the baseline, pumping his fist after every three-point play.
He's a fan.
And so that's something he's not getting in his other business endeavors.
No.
And so now he throws down more money on building an arena, possibly throws down more money on circumventing the salary cap, still debated.
That's not debated. They said that was clear.
Well, the NBA didn't say it.
They didn't?
The NBA's punishing him for the salary cap. I think they're saying it's not clear. I think they're saying it happened, but that he didn't know about it or do it. I mean, clearly Kawhi got a lot of money. No one's debating that. A lot more money.
Whatever.
I know. And I guess the Knicks were one where, it's like even the crazy owner doesn't know what he's doing and who gets lit up by the fan base forever, and they won a title.
Yeah. Right. That's what it's about, man. I'm not worried about that. That sounds good. He thought he was making a clever point and something that hasn't been discussed, but I don't buy it.
And even if one of those owners does it, maybe another one won't. So what does it matter? There's always one owner running things into the ground. The Kings have had a bunch of wealthy people. The Wizards have a bunch of wealthy people. They were staggering around. All right, we'll take a break. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, working on a guest on this topic, top of the hour. We'll see.
He's already confirmed it, man.
You already got it? Locked in?
Big
T will be here at the top of the hour. Stay with us right here in the zone.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Swing and a fly ball. Center field. It's got a chance. Church back out of room. Yes. And it's over. Yeah. It's over. Kyle Schwarber with a walk-off home run into the hedges in dead center field. And the Phillies have absolutely stung the Cardinals 6-4 with 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
The Chevy Strong play of the weekend right there. Kyle Schwarber capping that 6-run 9th inning. His walk-off homer. Phillies beat the Cards with an impressive lineup of cars, trucks, and SUVs. It's no wonder that people are switching to Chevy. Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers, America's fastest-growing full-line brand. Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers. Know that play. Kyle Schwarber's homer, the walk-off shot. And today, after 2 o'clock, Jake and Ben will call for it, and you can win fabulous prizes. Well, PK, you are back from vacation, Southern California, the sun, the surf, the sand, and hanging out with a former player from Utah.
Yeah, how about that? We went to Uncle Bill's. For those of you in Manhattan Beach, that's a big breakfast place and has a nice view of the water up top there off of Highland, and it's always crowded. And so we were there on a Wednesday, and a former Ute came by with 6 other members. They're all members of the Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. My new team.
Because you broke bread with them.
The Chargers?
Yeah. Several of them. Did you see him walk by? Have a chance to interact? Or,
oh, yeah. Absolutely walked by.
So who was it?
It was... Drum roll, please. That's a long drum roll, I got to admit. Very nice.
Thank you.
Lander Barton.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. I bet you did chat him up.
So we're sitting there. We're at a table for 2.
Did he want to talk to you, or did he want to talk to his former teacher?
Oh, he went right to her.
Yeah.
He didn't see us because we're sitting down, and he's walking. And I look up, I said, oh, that's Lander Barton. So my wife taught him for 2 years. And turn around, and she said, hey, Lander. And she got up, and he gave her, very respectful, has always been very respectful, a nice hug, and chatted him up a little bit. And I think the other guys were thinking that maybe, it's some fan. But I said to him, and there were 6 of them there, counting Lander would be the 7th. I said, that's his junior high teacher. And once I said that, like immediate respect. Like, whoa.
Totally changed the mood.
Yes, this isn't some fan.
This is some rando.
Gawking an autograph. This is a personal relationship that they had when this kid was 12 years old. And you see their faces. Whoa. That is really cool. Yeah. And it's obvious the way he hugged her, the respect that he has for her. Funny enough, that's the second time we saw him in Manhattan Beach. We saw him years ago. We're checking in the hotel, and his sister, who's a big volleyball player, was playing in one of the beach volleyball tournaments, and he was a youngster, and he was checking in, I think it was with his mom, and he looked at my wife and said, "What are you doing here?" And she looked at him and said, "What are you doing here?" And so I talked to him for a little bit. He says it's been going well. They had a game that the next night. He had told me that they were that had joint practices with the 49ers. He's an undrafted guy, so it's a long shot to an extent. But undrafted guys regularly make the NFL team, if not that, the practice squad. So number 57, and we watched the second half of the game the next night. I was at a place, Hennessy's over in Redondo, with a friend of mine that I used to work with when I worked at the Breeze, and the game was on. And it's funny because we see him play. Oh, there's number 57. Oh, my wife's been watching him on TV for 4 years, but somehow with the Charger uniform. And wish him well. Hopefully, very much want him to make the team and see what happens there, as we do all the local kids, whoever they may be. So it's kind of fun seeing him, and sent that picture off to a certain Michigan coach and said, "Hey, you guys are still out there trying to do their thing." Obviously, Kyle knows the Barton family very well. All three of them played football for Utah, but a great family that had contributed a lot to the program. And the mom, obviously, well, the parents were U of U athletes too.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah. I miss seeing Paul. I used to see him at airports, road trips, home games, what have you, afterward up on 4th South, where they would wait for the players. And that went on for a long time, but that era has come to an end. As everything does in this world.
Time passes.
Yeah. But it was fun being there. And he was a local kid out in our area, obviously. I saw him play in high school many times.
Bright and high.
Yeah.
Well, you at least saw him play the first half. Did you have to be there for halftime performances?
That was one of the reasons why I went. Yeah.
The band.
Yeah.
Kid in the band. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But we just got there in time to watch the game.
Yeah.
And watch him play. Played receiver and linebacker, obviously. And there's been local kids in the neighborhood that would watch. My neighbor played. We were watching the game the other day. It was the Hall of Fame game. Mm-hmm. Turned it on. And Simi Fehoko caught a touchdown pass.
Another Brighton kid, Stanford kid. Yeah.
And another Albion kid who my wife had in school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, DJ and PK, we'll take a break. When we come back, Big T, Thurl Bailey. Stick around. We'll talk Jazz, foreign trips, roster building, and he's got an event coming up. That's next. Stay with us.